Performer Spotlight.
Hi, Steve. Hi, Ryan. And hello, everyone. My name is Wanlu. I'm a puppeteer and a ventriloquist, and I'm from the Philippines. Here in my country, we say mabuhay. I have been performing since 1988 as a magician. And in 2007, I started adding puppets to my act. My very first puppet was the Axtell Wild Thing. I have eight children. The eldest is 34 years old, and the youngest is 12 years old. Sadly, I lost one to cancer last year. I also have seven grandchildren. That's right. Um, they call me the Philippine Ambassador of Puppetry, and I'm also the president of the International Ventriloquist Society Philippines. On my background, by the way, is the Rizal Monument in Luneta in Manila, Philippines. Dr. Jose Rizal is our national hero, and the Rizal Monument, of course, is his shrine here in Manila. So, anytime you visit the Philippines, make sure you visit the Rizal Monument in Luneta, the heart of Manila. All right. This time behind me is the majestic Mayon volcano in Bicol here in the Philippines. When you visit the Philippines, make sure you visit the Mayon volcano in Bicol. It's an awesome sight. All right. As a performer, I love performing with magic and puppetry. Because of puppetry, I performed in several TV shows, and I still appear on TV once in a while. Because of puppetry, I also have a regular live stream on the new channel. We call it The Puppet Stories. And because of puppetry, I've performed in several international puppetry festivals with my family. And that's the reason I've earned the title the Philippine Ambassador of Puppetry. My act is, in a nutshell, a combination of magic and puppetry. Before, it used to be 35 minutes of magic and about 10 minutes of puppetry. Now it's the other way around. I do about 10-15 minutes of magic and I do about 30 minutes of puppetry. As far as puppetry is concerned, I do a combination of ventriloquism and marionettes. All right, joining me this time is my pet monkey. His name is Enchongo. Say hello, Enchongo. Hello, Enchongo. I mean, say hello to everyone. Oh, hi, everyone. Say hello to Steve. Hi, Dada. Behind us this time is Hinulugang Taktak. It's a falls located here in Antipolo City, the Philippines, my hometown. So when you visit the country, when you visit the Philippines, make sure you visit Hinulugang Taktak here in Antipolo City. It's a must tourist destination in the Philippines. All right. I started as a performer in 1988. I started as a magician, and my very first Axtell prop was the Axtell Special Effects drawing board. Um, I actually ordered it by accident. I was trying to order the magic drawing board, but well, it's a sweet accident. It's I don't know what to call it, but it worked for me because the Axtell Special Drawing Board has been very effective and a favorite part of my act. I started adding puppetry or ventriloquism to my act in late 2007. And my very, very first puppet was the Axtell Wild Thing. Eventually, I added the Axtell Orangutan, the Axtell Pelican. I also have, of course, Vern the bird. I have the cockatoo. I also had the bulldog, the gorilla, the chimpanzee, the toucan, the dinosaur, the shark, of course, the cheeky monkey. This used to be a chimp, by the way, and this is one of the very, very first HF monkeys from Axtell. Of course, I got this through my friend, the great Lou Hilario. It used to be a chimp, and then eventually I asked Steve to turn it into a cheeky monkey when the cheeky monkey head came out. Uh, I also have the manual drawing board, and I also have the RC drawing board. Also part of my act, a favorite part of my act, the RC drawing board. What else do we have? Yeah. I also have the donut and another important part of my act I never perform without it is the Axtell off the meter. Off the meter is a very, very useful and powerful prop to open up a show. Try it if you don't have it. Get one, Axtell off the meter, and I guarantee it will be a hit in your act. All right. This HF Monkey is also part of my repertoire, especially when I perform on television. He used to have his own TV shows. Yes, he used to have a couple of TV shows and a lot of guestings on TV. I could probably say my favorite Axtell puppet is before I forget, I also had the granny and of course the old storyteller. um yes, I perform with lots of Axel puppets in my show. My favorite of course is the RC drawing board, the HF monkey. I also have an HF light, by the way, and of course off the meter. Thank you very much, Steve, for making really, really nice puppets for us. And because of your puppets, because of your props, you make us look so good in front of our audience. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Dodo. All right, behind me this time is the paradise island of Boracay here in the Philippines. Again, when you visit our country, make sure you visit Boracay Island. If you want a glimpse of paradise here on earth, make sure you visit Boracay Island here in the Philippines. All right. I do have some funny stories about my Axtell adventure. Maybe some of them are even secrets, but I can probably share with you one or two. Starting with the fact that I started to add ventriloquism in my act in 2007. My very, very first attempt to be a ventriloquist was with an Axtell Wild Thing. The funny thing is, I wasn't really successful. In other words, I bombed as a ventriloquist, and well, it was an attempt to be a ventriloquist, but it was an unsuccessful attempt. So I placed back the Axtell Wild Thing in a box and kept it there for several months. Then I traded the Axtell Wild Thing. Oh, by the way, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with the puppet. the Axel Wild thing is a really, really nice character. Uh, it's very, very effective. It's again, there's nothing wrong with the puppet. It's me who's the problem. I probably wasn't confident enough during my first attempt to be a ventriloquist. After a few months, I traded the Axtell Wild thing for an Axtell orangutan. And the orangutan was very, very magical as far as my ventriloquism adventure is concerned because the orangutan is so adorable. It wasn't very difficult to perform with it, although to tell you honestly, I bombed the first two times I used it in an actual gig, but that didn't stop me because I love the Axtell orangutan so much that I practiced real hard. And on my third attempt, uh, I believe I did quite well already. And the rest was history. Okay. Again, the Axtell orangutan, very, very magical part of my Axtell adventure. Another funny part or another funny story that I'd like to share with you, and you could probably learn from it, is I do have plenty of Axtell animatronics in my act. You've met Enchong Go. Enchong Go is my HF monkey. And I also have an HF light with a Vern on it, a Vern. And what else? I also have the RC drawing board. The funny thing is, at home, of course, I practice with the HF light, turn it off, practice with the RC drawing board, turn it off, and practice with the HF monkey and then turn it off. In the actual gig, what I didn't know, what I didn't know was there will be a problem if you use these things simultaneously. Everything is turned on. All right. Probably not much with the HF monkey. It's a different frequency. But with the RC drawing board and the HF light, I started performing with the drawing board after performing with an HF light, and it was still turned on, and the drawing board went berserk. Okay. It's a funny thing. The audience didn't really notice anything wrong. They probably think it's part of the act. But as far as myself is concerned, as far as my staff is concerned, we thought it was very, very funny, and we learned a lot from it. So remember, if you want to use an HF light and an RC drawing board in your act, make sure you don't turn them on at the same time. All right. All right. Behind me this time is the Banawe Rice Terraces. That's right. We call it the Banawe Rice Terraces. These are rice fields, and it's a must visit part of the Philippines. So when you visit the country, make sure you check out the Banawe Rice Terraces. All right. I was asked by Steve and Ryan to share with you um, a disaster, a nightmare that happened in one of my shows. This one actually happened not during a show, but on our way to a show. So this happened in 2019. We were on our way to Bangkok for the uh, Fascinating World of Puppets Festival in Siam Paragon in Bangkok, Thailand. Um, I was with my wife, my children, Gabby and Eli, and our assistant, um, Jerickson. Jerickson is a minor. It was his first time to go out of the country. and we didn't realize that a minor needs something from our Bureau of Immigration for him to leave the country without his parents. So something we didn't really know we had to have with us. To cut the story short, Jerickson was offloaded. He was not able to go with us to Thailand for the International Puppetry Festival in Bangkok. Now, the nightmare is we didn't realize that one of our baggages was under Jerickson's tag. And when we reached Bangkok, we were retrieving all our bags and we were waiting for more than half an hour for the last baggage, which is very, very important for our performance in that festival. It's a big suitcase, and inside that suitcase is a lot of puppets, a really, really big part of our repertoire in that festival. After 30 minutes, I asked one of the people manning the thing in the airport, and they said that the baggage was offloaded in Manila because it was under Jerickson's tag. It was a nightmare because that suitcase, again, as I was telling you earlier, had lots of our props and puppets that we need to use in that festival. Really, really big nightmare for us. Fortunately, we were able to make use of what we have left on the other suitcase. We only had two. One was offloaded, and one did reach Bangkok, and we opened it. And well, we actually didn't have enough, but we managed to still perform with uh, with what we had in that suitcase, and added some ventriloquial tricks, things we don't really do normally or usually in our act. But in that particular festival, we added ventriloquial tricks and managed to survive that festival. Nightmare. Oh, by the way, behind me this time is Palawan. It's another paradise on earth here in the Philippines. Again, when you visit the Philippines, make sure you visit Palawan. All right. Um what are my goals as far as puppetry and ventriloquism is concerned? Well, as the president of the International Ventriloquist Society Philippines, our goal is to promote the art of ventriloquism. Uh, Part of our goal is to stop piracy in puppetry. So we've managed to uh, ask uh, puppeteers in the Philippines making fake Axtell drawing boards to stop doing that. Otherwise, we will make sure they get punished. And we have been very, very successful in educating local puppeteers as far as piracy and copyright materials is concerned. And also, part of our advocacy is to make sure people find puppetry and ventriloquism very entertaining and interesting. Another part of my goal is to promote the Philippines using the art of puppetry. That is the reason why I've been showing you several nice and beautiful places here in my country, hoping that someday you can visit the Philippines. We also use puppetry to promote our country by joining international puppetry festivals in Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, Singapore, Japan, and we've been invited to Brunei, Germany, Egypt, India, Kazakhstan, Poland. But unfortunately, pandemic came, and now we're all locked up, or should I say, because of the lockdown. Well, I'm sure you know what I mean. All right. However, despite the pandemic, we've managed to still promote the art of ventriloquism. Just recently, we had the Philippines Indonesia Vent event where we featured six of the best ventriloquists from Indonesia and the Philippines. The event was hosted by my Indonesian counterpart, Budi Haha from Ventriloquist Indonesia, and of course myself from IVS Philippines. Another goal that we have is to promote the art of puppetry and ventriloquism despite the pandemic. And one thing we've managed to do is have this online or virtual weekly puppet talk show. We call it the Puppet Stories. And Puppet Stories is on Facebook and on YouTube every Monday, 5:30 p.m. That's 5:30 p.m. Philippine time. Again, that's the Puppet Stories here on the new channel. And Steve and Ryan were on the show a few months ago. Thank you very much, Steve and Ryan, for being on the Puppet Stories. All right, that's about it for me. Again, Steve and Ryan, thank you very much for having me on your show. More power to Axtell Expressions. Again, you guys rock. You make a lot of ventriloquists and puppeteers look good in front of an audience because of your awesome, awesome products. Thank you very much, Stephen Ryan, and thank you very much, Axtell Expressions. And thank you very much, everybody, for watching, and may the Lord keep us all safe. Bye, everyone. Mabuhay.
Thank you for joining us for another edition of Performer Spotlight.